Welcome to this explainer. Today, I'm going to step in as your personal finance coach to show you exactly how millions of Americans use a simple piece of plastic to build wealth instead of falling into debt. Think about it. What if I told you the exact same tool that traps so many people in a cycle of debt is quietly making others rich? We're talking about credit cards. Yeah, the plastic your parents probably warned you about. But today, we're looking at the data and the mechanics to show you that credit isn't evil. In fact, for the disciplined user, it's a highly effective financial weapon.
Let's dive right in by tackling one of the biggest financial myths out there, this idea that credit cards are inherently dangerous and should be avoided at all costs. The truth? People who truly understand the financial system don't avoid credit cards. They use them strategically to build long-term financial wealth. And look, it's not about luck, and it's definitely not about earning a massive high-income salary. It is entirely about understanding the rules of the game and having the discipline to execute a plan.
Here's our playbook for today's explainer. We're going to cover the credit card debt lie, the bank's hidden business model, 3 strategies for building wealth, the psychology of invisible spending, the average versus wealth mindset, and we'll wrap up with a concrete 5-step playbook.
All right, Section 1, the credit card debt lie and how the system is totally misunderstood.
So a lot of people think that just swiping a credit card automatically leads you straight into debt. And to be fair, for a lot of Americans, that's exactly what happens. People swipe, they overspend beyond their means, and those punishing interest rates kick in. But here's the thing, that's only true if you don't know the rules. Smart users treat credit exactly like a debit card. They only spend the cash they already have sitting right there in the bank. If the physical cash isn't in their checking account, the card stays in the wallet, period. Because of this discipline, they leverage bank money without ever paying a single cent in interest. Not once. But if they aren't paying interest, why on earth do banks reward them?
Well, that brings us to Section 2, the bank's hidden business model and where the money really comes from.
Every single time you swipe that card, there's actually a hidden business model going to work in the background. The merchant you're buying from pays what's called an interchange fee, usually around 1 to 3% of the total transaction, just to process the payment. The bank and the network, like Visa or MasterCard, they take their cut of that fee. But here's the secret. The bank takes a portion of those fees and hands them right back to you as cashback or travel rewards. Responsible, smart card usage literally turns these hidden banking fees into pure personal profit.
Now, you gotta remember, banks are businesses, right? They're definitely not charities. So why would they willingly share these fees with you? Well, because they're betting on one thing, human error. They know that if they dangle enough shiny rewards, you just might drop your discipline for a second, overspend, and boom, you get hit with massive interest fees. But if you never carry a balance, you completely beat their system.
That brings us to Section 3, 3 strategies for building wealth and how Americans actually make money doing this.
Let's explore the 3 concrete strategies that ordinary people use to systematically win. We've got cashback stacking, travel hacking, and building a powerful credit score. And honestly, that third point is a massive hidden wealth tool. By consistently paying your card on time and keeping your balances low, you build up a stellar credit score. And since that score dictates your loan approvals and your future interest rates, it can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars in interest on big things like mortgages and car loans down the line. Credit cards actively make your future cheaper.
Let's break down cashback stacking with a really concrete scenario. Let's say you route a normal $2,000 monthly budget, your planned groceries, gas, utilities, through a standard 2% cashback card. If you use a debit card for that, you get 0. Nothing. But if you use the credit card and pay it off immediately, you passively capture $480 a year just for doing your normal spending. The bank is handing you almost $500 purely for optimizing your payment method.
And this actually scales right up into travel hacking, which is where things go from just being nice to absolutely insane. By opening a specific card and putting your planned budget on it to hit the requirements, you can unlock anywhere from 60,000 to 100,000 sign-up bonus points. Those translate to $500 or even over $1,000 in value. Regular, disciplined users are taking free flights and staying in luxury hotels simply by tracking and optimizing their monthly spending.
So if this is so profitable, why do so many people still fall into the trap? Section 4, the psychology of invisible spending.
Honestly, it all comes down to psychological triggers. Think about it. Handing over 2 crisp $20 bills at the store, that actually kind of hurts. You physically feel the loss as that cash leaves your hand. But swiping a piece of digital plastic, it's completely invisible. It feels emotionally detached from your wealth, almost like you're playing with digital monopoly money, which leads directly to overspending. Treating credit like cash prevents this emotional overspending.
You have to physically visualize the money leaving your bank account with every single tap of that card. Take a look at the real stakes mapped out here. If you lose track of that invisible spending and start carrying a balance, you're going to get hit with a devastating 20 to 30% interest penalty. And let me tell you, that wipes out your tiny 2 to 5% reward gains instantly. The credit cards themselves aren't dangerous, but human ignorance absolutely is. The cost of a mistake here is massive. All right, Section 5, Average versus Wealth Mindset and Changing How You Think About Credit.
To stay on the winning side, you absolutely have to shift your mindset. Notice the huge difference here. The average user gets an approval letter in the mail and thinks, awesome, I have a $5,000 limit. I can go spend $5,000 today. The wealth builder? They ignore the bank's limit entirely. To them, their true limit is only whatever actual cash is currently sitting, cleared, and ready in their checking account.
And it's the exact same with rewards. Average users just see points as a lucky little bonus, but smart users, they treat rewards as a system to be optimized. A wealth builder creates a clear template for tracking, like a spreadsheet that says groceries equals card A, gas equals card B. They don't just hope for points, they route specific, planned bills to specific cards to meticulously maximize every single purchase.
You know, wealth isn't built by just avoiding financial tools out of fear. It's built through the discipline of actually understanding how the system operates. The average mindset says credit cards are risky, but the wealth mindset knows that not understanding them is what's truly risky. Walking away from free travel and cheaper mortgages because you're afraid to learn the rules, that is a huge missed opportunity. Which brings us to our final section, Section 6, the 5-step playbook, your simple system for safe card usage.
You might want to screenshot this one because this is your 5-step checklist as a beginner to safely extract value from the banks. Step 1, get a starter card. Look for a flat 1.5 to 2% cashback rate with absolutely zero annual fee. Step 2, stop impulse checkouts by only buying planned budget expenses. Step 3, set a simple daily or weekly routine, like checking your banking app every Friday to ensure you pay your balance in full every single month. If you do that, you hit Step 4 automatically, which is never carrying interest. And finally, Step 5, systematically track and optimize those return bank fees.
When you stick to this exact framework, a light bulb really goes off. You realize that credit cards don't just create debt. They create massive financial opportunity for the disciplined user. There are no secret magic hacks here, folks. It's just basic discipline combined with a deep understanding of how the financial machine works. The difference between the person drowning in debt and the person flying first class for free, it isn't the plastic card in their pocket, it's the person using it.
So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to consider today as you look at your wallet. Are you using credit cards, or are they using you? Take control, utilize the playbook, and start leveraging the system to build your own wealth. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Please like, share, and subscribe to keep learning how to master your finances.